Hello everybody and welcome to Baldur's Gate 3. I am Solemn, the gamer who's bad at games with moderately functional. And we've been trying to record some Dark Tide and stuff lately, but we haven't been able to get all together. I wanted to record this as a multiplayer kind of thing, but I wasn't able to get a hold of anybody. And this is just kind of what I've been playing in my free time. This, if you don't know, is by Larian Studios with Wizards of the Coast assets, obviously, based on D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, if you really don't know that much. I guess just worth note, there are two games prior, obviously. It's the third in the series. I have not played either of those, and I don't have too much experience with Dungeons and Dragons aside from like making characters and a few games that ended up kind of dying over time with some friends. With Baldur's Gate, however, I've done my regular thing where I've made a whole bunch of characters. This one's actually the girlfriend's character, but these are all characters of mine. But to kind of keep things interesting so I'm not just going through the paces with you guys, I've decided, for one thing, usually I play as Explorer because I just don't really want to be bothered. I'm kind of here for more of the storyline. But for one thing, you can't multi-class in this. Not that I'm going to multi-class for you guys because that gets complicated and I'm bad at it. But I'm also not good enough for tactician, so we're just going to play balanced. But that's not how I'm going to keep it interesting for you guys. But I think we have a cutscene here right away, so I'll shut up and explain kind of after that. Friggin' Squidward putting Krabby Patties in my eyes or whatever. I don't know. Oh, my computer's lagging. Okay. So yeah, he put bugs in my eyes and stuff. Let's hang on. Pop up on my screen. Anyways, go away, pop up. Leave me alone. Okay, it's not gonna leave me alone. Screw it. Anyways, so as I was saying though, I'm going to be in this game. You have obviously a few options here. Okay, hang on. Just go away, pop up. Leave me alone. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna have to try to ignore that, I guess. Anyways, so you can do a custom origin where you pretty much make up your own background and stuff in your own mind. I'm just worried it's lagging out my computer that it's doing that, because it kind of looks like it definitely is. Hang on, I'm gonna pause the recording and I'll figure this out. Okay, well, I guess I just gotta hope that this is recording right. I'm trying anyways. It looks like it is, but it's kind of like laggy on my second monitor, which is weird. But anyways, assuming that it's working correctly, let's get back to where I was. Basically, this is the origin where it's completely custom. You pick your everything, your race, your class. You make up your own backstory and you kind of go into it. Or you could play as one of these characters. These are characters that you can also meet in the game. Just these 6 here. And certain things will change in the game in regards to that, depending on who you pick. With no spoilers being given, but like this character here and this one, you will meet them in the first act, like the tutorial sequence, if you play as a custom character. But if you're playing as one of them, then they will not be there. And then the way that I'm going to keep this interesting is I'm going to play as this character. So you can still completely customize this character's race, how they look, and their class, but their backstory is not yours to pick. In fact, if you go down here to go to the background, you only have the haunted one. A wicked moment, person, or thing that cannot be slain by sword or spell haunts your mind and flickers into your peripheral vision. You carry it wherever your adventure takes you, or perhaps it carries you. Whereas if you pick a custom, for example, you go ahead and here you get your generic backgrounds from D&D. Now, obviously, this character starts as a white dragonborn sorcerer, but we're going to probably tweak that. Now, I'm going to pause recording briefly before I get into this, and I will create a character and let you guys know what we're doing after I'm done that. But I have to check on the recording and make sure it's actually recording and not doing nonsense shenaniganery. Alright guys, so this looks like what we're gonna do. I'm sticking with a sorcerer, but I'm going with a tiefling. Reasons for that being a couple. One is that I did this like random character generation thing that Fry suggested to me, and it suggested a tiefling sorcerer as well as some like ways to roleplay it, but since we already have the Haunted One background, I already have all the role-playing notes I need for that. I'm not going to dink with the settings too much because, I mean, this is kind of fine to me anyways. We get the extra constitution and charisma, with strength being the dump stat, but that's fine by me. The only thing I might change is I might drop my intelligence a bit on a normal playthrough, but that's just because I know where there's an item that will boost that to being 17 so long as you wear the item anyways, but we'll get to that later if I end up picking it up. I went with an Asmodeus Tiefling just because I liked the idea of being able to conjure fire into my hand, and you can use that for light, or you can just hawk it at people. For cantrips, you know, I've got Firebolt, which is pretty much standard for me, and Ice as well, like so Ice and Fire. Basically, I took offensive ones. I know that there's some people that like will stand by some of these other things, but it's like I don't need a light spell, I already have one. I don't need a light spell, I already have one. I always forget to use wards and things like that, so I'm not going to use one of those. For my spells, I'll always take Magic Missile because, you know, it'll always hit, even if it only does 2 damage. That's sometimes the guaranteed damage that you need, so that's going to be, I'll be using that a lot. chromatic orb, I just, I didn't really care for the second thing. Sometimes I'll take this one, sometimes I'll take the false life, personally, but I was thinking about the burning hands, but then for my draconic bloodline, which is the sorcerer one I decided to use, wild magic would have also been interesting. I decided to go with a red dragon being my ancestor, which is how I got burning hands here. Obviously, I'm the haunted one, which gives me medicine and intimidation, which is interesting. And then for appearance, I put the scales around here, and I decided that this guy was, he needed more color in his face, so I did this for a tattoo. And, just kind of leaning into the whole, like, blood red demonic thing going on. Now, tieflings kind of having escaped hell on their own kind of thing, that kind of leans to me a lot into this person that has a haunted background or whatever. It makes a lot of sense to me. Now, I guess I decided to stick with the skinny tiefling because I don't think a sorcerer is going to be big and boof, and normally I'd play as a female, but again, we're trying to play things in a way that I wouldn't normally, so that it kind of keeps things interesting for you guys, and I'm not just going through the paces. The voice kind of seemed fine for it and all that. What else is there to say? I don't think that there's very much. So, yeah, proceed. The Dark Urge. Nah, I mean, part of me wants to call him Dirge, but I guess, I don't know. This guy, I don't want to call him Solemn because he's not going to be how I normally would play my character. So we'll go with my secondary. We'll call him Milo. Alright, so for weapons, I'm only good with daggers, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows, which is fine, I guess. I'll probably switch out to a dagger instead of the quarterstaff because whatever. But, yeah. For Guardian, you can completely customize these guys too. I already know the spoiler on this, even though I haven't gotten to my normal play in my own playthrough, but eh. So basically, I'm just gonna pick a race here. We're gonna have Dwarf Daddy take care of us. All right. All right, so as our character kind of escapes from their confines here, I'll probably try to cut away any long loading screens. They're not particularly bad, but if there's one that's really bad and I'm not talking anyways, I'll try to cut it away in editing for you guys so you're not having to wait through silence or whatever. But if I'm saying something,
The blood in your
I'll
head
probably not.
drums and pounds. That pounding blood obscures who you are. An overwhelming loss of memory. How you ended up amidst these hellish flames is just as hidden. You have nothing in your skull, besides your name and a headache. But you are in danger.
Curse whoever did this to you, say your name aloud, you have part of yourself, or take a deep breath, shake your head, and start anew. I'll say my name.
The dark urge. Whatever that is you. You will claw back the truth. But first, you have to claw your way out of here.
Alright, so fun fact, if you start a normal game, you start in this pond. I don't know why, as the Dark Urge, you start in this one, but I guess Lae'zel starts in this one.
With haste.
Anyways. So first things first, I'm just going to start looting some things, and we can talk about, you know, some basic stuff. I like the character portrait here. I don't like my health, but that's fine. So yeah, just things have been kind of full lately, which is why we haven't been recording very much or posting very much. And I've noticed that we've lost a couple subscribers because of it, but unfortunately, such is what it will be. But, media, just, you know, I don't think it's too much of a secret, but, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say their name or anything like that, but media just got married. So we had that going on, and Fry just moved, and, you know, so we've had a lot of stuff on the go, basically, and then obviously regular scheduling conflicts. I've been working a lot, things like that. So we haven't been able to get together.
This is the pool that thing came from. The parasite now writhing behind your eye.
Obviously, if you haven't seen this before, I'm sure most people have seen this game at this point, but this is your rolling mechanic. I'm rolling for investigation to see if I can figure anything out. Apparently we can, so we're good.
The casing is fragile. The slightest touch could cause it to crumble.
So then, do I touch it or do I leave? Now, I'm going to leave just because I don't have the health to boink around, but if you reach towards it, it crumbles and it ends up exploding you and damaging you. Now, there's a thing over here where you can heal yourself.
Dead.
But, like, I don't know how much damage it does, and I don't want to get deaded outright, so... I'll pick up a holy water, silver ingot, and some gold. That's, like, alright to sell later. I'll just touch on this thing to show you. But yeah, this thing, it heals you, and if you have spell slots as your character class, it'll replenish those as well.
I feel better.
But, you know, I just don't want to risk it. Like, if that thing, I don't think it does 9 damage. I think it only does, like, 1, but it's like, why take damage if you don't need to? This guy sometimes has gold on him, yeah. So this thing.
Images of goblins, their habits and histories flash into your mind.
Now, I'm also going to be trying to play this character as the Dark Urge, but it's like that's normally against everything that I do. So you might have some conflicting character moments between me and the character I'm playing. We'll have to see.
You've come to save us from this place. From this place, you'll free us.
The exposed brain quivers in expectation.
Please. Before they return. They return.
Free you? I was going to make a soup. Anyways.
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect devourer, a minion of the mind flayers who abducted you.
The enemy. So many enemies. Remove us from this body. From this case, free us. Please.
Alright, so I can just kill the thing. I can do some... I'll do some investigation and see. I have a bonus to intelligence, so it should go well. Nope. D&D things.
Apart from this strange context, you notice nothing unusual about the brain.
Now, here's something some people don't know. Yes, you can just hover over these and they don't tell you nothing, but if you hover over here, it'll tell you, I can't really break the skull because I'm a weak boy, but I do get a positive to my dexterity, so I can try to do this. We'll see. So that's not going well. Basically, I don't really care if I get this, because it just adds an extra hand to some fights, really. But it doesn't do too much one way or another if you fail. If you piss it off, it's another enemy later, but meh.
The brain won't budge.
Alright, so I'm just gonna leave. No sense in destroying it. You don't, there's no negatives to not killing the thing. If you get it out and you can also try to weaken it in case you have to fight it later and things like that, but no point in going into that if it didn't happen, right? Oh, after this next scene, cutscene, hang on.
Abomination. This is your end.
Your head throbs and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
Ugh. My head. What is this? Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
What made you think I was a thrall?
We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
Who are you?
Who am I? Your only chance of survival.
I was so hoping she'd say, I'm a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Okay, what do you suggest?
First, we exterminate the imps. Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane.
When people say babies are cute, that's what I see. Anyways, okay, so
This is your end.
if you're playing as Lae'zel in one of the origin stories, you don't run into her there. In fact, they add a completely separate character that doesn't otherwise exist just for him to die very shortly afterwards. Spoilers. Ooh, she missed.
Can't even catch my breath.
This is a cantrip, right? Yeah. There you go.
You proved surprisingly adequate in battle. Now, to the helm.
Just gotta loot the things. That guy's just got an axe. One of these guys has a crossbow, like a light crossbow, and I want it. There we go. Take that. They'll always have a light crossbow, and I always suggest picking it up for your character unless you happen to be a bard, in which case you start with a hand crossbow, and that's slightly better. Like, maybe not damage-wise, but you can move and shoot at the same time, which is good. And we're just about at the end of an episode here. Just poke this so that Lae'zel gets healed. I'll just climb up these tendons and then we'll probably call that there just for safety.
Before it's too late.
Alright, cool, and it's saved right there anyways. I was also going to mention that, though, we're going to be saving a fair bit in the game just so that if I actually have something that go catastrophically wrong, we can go back. I'm not going to be too hardcore about this. Let me know what you think so far in the comments about the character or the game or how I'm going to choose to play it or any suggestions thereof. And, yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Bye.